Sequences and series can be written as recursive functions. Spreadsheets can be used to make calculations involving them quick and efficient. So in this activity, you should better understand the power of spreadsheets in implementing recursive thought, because a spreadsheet can basically help generate the next cell and the next cell and the next cell in the spreadsheet without you having to write out every single term. So it says for each sequence below, find the next 3 terms, which we could do without a spreadsheet, right? Find the 10th term and the 50th term. We could use the closed formula if we wanted to do that. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Finding the sum of the first 10 terms and finding the sum of the first 50 terms. Next week, we're going to learn how to use a series to do that for us. But I wanted to show you how you could use a spreadsheet as a tool as well. So based on the quiz we just took, we should be able to do this whole first line without needing our spreadsheet, right? So what's the pattern? What's it doing? Yeah, just going up by 2 every time, right? So I know that this is 7, 9, and 11. To generate the 10th and the 50th term, I could just write out the sequence for myself, right? And plug in 10 and plug in 50. So the sequence would be a sub n equals, and I'm starting at 1, and I'm adding 2 n minus 1 times. So I can use that formula to generate the 10th and generate the 50th. And that's basically where we got to this week. This is using a pattern and generating terms. Where we're going to get to next week is actually the mathematical calculations to do this part without needing the spreadsheet. So take a minute and generate the 10th and the 50th, and then I'm going to show you how to use the spreadsheet to find the sum of the first 10 and the first 50 terms. No, you're going to do 49, right? Because 50 minus 1 is 49. So you're going to do 2 times 49, which would be what? 98 plus 1, right? So 99 would be the 50th term, right? Which it should make sense. We're counting all the odd, right, integers between 0 and 100. Wait, yeah, so the 50th term, half of them would be the 99. The 10th term would be what? Right, because I'm taking 2 times 9 is 18 plus 1 is 19. All right, so how can I put this into a spreadsheet? So I think I can keep recording, but open up a Google Sheet. So just in Google Sheets, open up a new one. Let me just see here. Oh, am I not going to be able to turn this head? Let's see. I think I'm still recording. Okay. All right, so open up a new Google Sheet. So go new, Google Sheet. All right, so if we want to generate this pattern, right? The pattern was 1, 3, 5, 7. Your Google Sheets are pretty smart. If you just enter 1, 3, and 5, I think your sheet can actually figure out the pattern. So what you do is you actually highlight the first 3 cells, which I can't do with one hand here. Understand why I can't. Let's see if that's still directed at my screen. For the one person that's gonna, oh, yeah. Why is this so crooked? As long as I can see my screen, I know that when I'm on my screen, oh, I should have paused it so that I wasn't giving these people motion sickness. I think that's the best I can do. Nah. All right, so I'm copying the first 3 cells, right, so that your computer can figure out the pattern. And then do you see how there's that box in the bottom right? If you put your cursor over it, it turns to a plus sign. Do you see that? So when you click on the plus sign and drag it down, your computer's pretty smart and it can figure out the pattern is going up by 2 every time. So if you drag that plus sign down all the way to the, actually, we want to do the 10th first. Drag it to the 10th cell first, right? So there, I'm at 1 through 19. So did you know that your computer can figure out the sum of a list of cells? Did you all generate 1 through 19? Were you able to do that? So if you want your calculator to add together the first 10 terms, what you do is you highlight those 10 cells, right? So start on 1, drag it down so you're highlighting those first 10 cells, and it's up in the, let's see, we have to find the little E button. I think we have to find more options. Where's our rest of our options here? This dot, 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 more. Yeah, you need the E. Do you see that sigma notation? We're actually going to see sigma next week because it's dealing with series. So you want to arrow down on the 3 dots, the capital E, and you want to take the sum, and it'll ask you, do you want to take the sum of cells 1 through 10, which is what it's asking you. So if you just hit enter, it'll find the sum of those first 10 cells. And so the sum is 100. So isn't that, yep, so I just highlighted cells 1 through 10, and then I hit the 3 dots, the E sum, and it'll tell me the sum is 100. So that's the answer for the first 10 terms. So then you'll have to delete out cell number 11, highlight 3 of the cells like 15, 17, 19, and do the plus sign, and drag the pattern down. It might, if you're I don't know if that's a rule or not. So then once you've dragged down all 50 cells all the way up to number 99, if you hit it again, the 3 dots and sum, I don't know, did that 2451, did I have all of them highlighted though? I might not have. I'm highlighting 1 to 50, and I'm doing sum, enter, 2500 is the right answer. No, so then what I did is I deleted the sum out of box 11, and then I highlighted again, dragged all the way down to cell 50, right? So cell 50, if we did it correctly, should end at the number 99. And then with all of them highlighted, when I did the summation, it told me the sum was 2500. So we're actually going to see how to get that with the calculator next week. But right now, we don't have any other tools unless we sat here with our calculator and we did 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. 2500. So let's do one more together on our sheet. Make sure we're on the right track. I think you could just hit cell A and hit delete, and it clears out that column for you. All right, so if we look back at our sheet here, and now we want to generate, we should be able to do, right, this whole top row using a pattern. So 149, that's not actually arithmetic or geometric. Can you think of what 1, 4, and 9 are? They're special numbers. What pattern is 149? This is actually 1 squared, 2 squared, and 3 squared. So this is 4 squared, which is 16, 5 squared is 25. Do you see that pattern? It's a quadratic. If we had done finite differences, this goes up by 3, this goes up by 5, so this is going up by 7, this is going up by 9, and then it's going up by 2 each time underneath it, so it's quadratic. So the 10th term is just going to be 10 squared, right? 10 squared is 100. And the 50th term would just be 50 squared. And 50 times 50 is what, 2,500? Is that right? 50 squared is 2,500. So now we are going to tell our calculator to do the sum of those first 10 terms and the sum of the first 50 terms, I mean our spreadsheet. Oh, yeah, that's a pattern This time, I don't know if our computer is smart enough to figure out the pattern. If we do 1, 4, 9, and we enter 3 terms, will it figure it out? No. Okay, so we need to be smarter than the computer. So here's right. I don't, but you need to do it recursively. So in the first column, you need to enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. because this is going to count as like term 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's drop that down to 10 so that we have terms 1 through 10. Then in this cell, how do I generate this term? It's basically our n value squared, right? So to generate a formula in a spreadsheet, you type the equals key, and that tells your computer that you're generating a formula. You want to click on the cell next to it. So it says, oh, do you want to do equals cell A1? And you want to square that cell. So you do the upside down caret, which is over 6. So you're raising it to the second power. So you're typing in equals, you're highlighting cell A1, you're raising it to the second power, and then you have to hit enter to save the formula. Enter. See how that gives me 1? And then it says, do you want to do autofill? You could also drag the formula down, but I'll say, sure, I'll autofill the formula, right? Did it give you the option to autofill the formula down? If it didn't, you will just go back up here to where the formula was and drag it down with a plus sign. Did it generate them for you? If it didn't, I could troubleshoot. So now to find the sum of the first 10 terms, you highlight those 10 boxes, right? Highlight the 10 boxes, and then hit the sum key and enter. So it should be 385. Is that what you got on yours? All right. And I'm not going to test you on using the spreadsheets, but I think it's a good tool to have when you're doing math and science. All right, so then I need to generate the first 50 boxes. So what you can do is just do the drop down plus sign. You have to generate the 50 term boxes, so 1 through 50. And then you can go back up to the cell that the formula is in, which is cell B1. And if you do the plus sign in that bottom right corner and drag it all the way down, it'll generate those first 50 boxes. So you can just double check that it got to 2,500 because we know that that's the right cell 50. And then you can do the sum of those first 50 boxes, which I have highlighted. So I get that the sum is 42,925. Did it not do it? 42,925 is what I got. Who needs help generating the formula for that?